What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Didn't Ask podcast. I'm your host, Djimon, and today I will be diving back into the world of Reddit to see what the people asked Reddit and didn't ask me. How's everybody doing? I hope you had a good weekend. I certainly did. It was a very productive weekend, I should say. I helped my grandparents move this past weekend because, man, these people just got a new home and it's looking mighty fine. It's a very fun place in the middle of the city, so it's gonna be a little bit more busy for them. And it's also like for them, they're getting older. They're now closer to most stores and stuff, so they can just do whatever the fuck they want. And everything is one floor because they have an apartment now, so they don't have to walk stairs anymore. So that's really gonna help them out. So yeah, I'm very happy for them. Congratulations to them for their new home. I hope they can live there for many, many years to come and that they can enjoy the fruits of their labor, I guess you could say. And then on Sunday, I went into Amsterdam, got some stuff, I wanted to get a nice tracksuit or like we call them huispakken. So basically like home suits, which are basically like sweatpants type things. I guess you could say sweatpants. And they didn't have the shit that I wanted. So I was a bit disappointed in that. So hopefully they will get the colors that I want because they have some very nice pastel colors and I really love pastels. So they had like a mint and there's like a lavender and I already got the lavender hoodie and it's really fucking cool. And I talked about this last week, I think. So correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I talked about this last week and I'm going to wear it probably tomorrow to the launch of the new thing for my work. So yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun. So let's get into the questions now. Of course, I've got 5 questions from the Ask Reddit subreddit and 1 from the Am I the Asshole subreddit. Let's jump into the first question of today, coming from the Ask Reddit subreddit. And this is a very serious question. Let's get the serious question out of the way first. And this one was asked by user Radiation Core, and they ask, what is your plan if nuclear war starts? Right now, we are in a very serious situation with Russia and Ukraine, and the situation doesn't seem to be getting better anytime soon. Things are very scary right now with Russia, taking more and more areas of Ukraine and bombing more and more cities, which results in many, many, many more casualties on both sides, really. And the Ukrainian people, man, these people are fucking warriors right now because all the men that are capable of doing anything seemingly are staying behind for the most part and they are fighting for their countries. And that's like, man, to do that in this situation is absolutely heroic, in my opinion. It's so cool and it's so sad that they have to do this, of course. But standing there for your country, that means a lot to a whole bunch of people. And hopefully, it's so hard, this situation, because I personally feel that the European Union, like NATO and whatever the fuck you want to call it, I feel like they're not doing enough, in my opinion. But on the other hand, it's just like I don't really know what they can do right now because Putin is very smart in the sense that they're attacking Ukraine. And of course, Ukraine not part of NATO, not part of the European Union per se. So they can basically do whatever the fuck they want over there. And I believe the next country that's basically now getting closer to getting hit with rockets is Poland. And Poland, similar to Ukraine, not part of the European Union, which then again brings this whole mess about itself that Russia can just do whatever the fuck they want because nothing can happen because no one is part of the European Union and therefore the whole union will not strike back. And it's a really weird situation. But going back to the question asked by user Radiation Core, what is your plan if nuclear war starts? And honestly, there is no plan. If nuclear war starts, we're done. There have been murmurs about Russia being very pissed at the Netherlands for some sort of reason. And that is scary. Luckily, we are pretty far away and basically as far as it can get from Russia than any other countries. So for them to hit us, they need to overshoot some other countries. So that's kind of a savior, I guess you can say that. There's like a, it's the best case in a worst case situation. But yeah, like I feel like there is nothing we as a society can do because we cannot do it. We cannot do anything if the people in Russia themselves who are protesting and whatever the fuck cannot do anything and get arrested and put into, I don't know, rehabilitation camps or just disappeared or whatever things that we are seeing from China and stuff like that. That's scary, man. Like if they drop a bomb, they drop a bomb and then we're done, and that's very scary. But I think Putin is smart enough to not do that stuff because if he would do that stuff, that means that it's going to be really hard for other countries to back him, and that also means that hey, you now fucking used nuclear weapons, which means that you broke some international laws. So yeah, that means that the hell has got to be paid. So going back to the question asked by user Radiation Core, what is your plan if nuclear war starts? And the simple answer, and sadly the simple answer is there is nothing we can do. We're fucked at that point. If nuclear weapons starts, if Putin starts launching nuclear weapons, that is horrible. And again, like I'm saying, that's an international crime. So I hope it never happens. But you know, you never know nowadays. But it is really scary, especially because the nuclear fallout doesn't only hit the place where the bomb hit, it also hits many, many, many miles in radius. So that's going to be very scary, especially with wind and stuff like that. It's horrible. I'm not looking forward to that shit. So let's hope that it never happens. Thank you for your question. Anyways, Radiation Core. Moving on to the second question, a little bit of a lighter note. As by user Zio underscore, and they ask, what's something people don't realize the actual size of until they stand next to it? And to me, and this is gonna be one of those Djimon fanboy moments, it's wrestlers. Especially WWE wrestlers in particular. WWE wrestlers have been notoriously tall throughout the existence. The existence of wrestling, realistically speaking. And WWE was also known as the land of the giants back in the day because basically if you were anywhere close to 6'1", you wouldn't get hired. So everybody was like 6'2", 6'3", probably even 6'4" and up. And while that is way, way less now, we still see that most wrestlers are at least 6'1" in WWE nowadays. And I'm saying most because there are some exceptions to the rule, but I would say, yeah, most people are at like 6'1" at a bare minimum. And with that, that means that people that you see on screen are 6'1", 6'2", but then you have motherfuckers like Randy Orton, who, if you look back in WWE, you would say that Randy Orton is a quote-unquote smaller guy. And that is, of course, WWE quotes, of course, because I think he's also like 6'4" or something like that. But because WWE works with so many people that are 6'4", 6'5", people that almost hit 7 foot, it's very hard to really understand sizing. And then you see somebody like Riddle or something like that stand next to Randy Orton and they have to look up and it's like, what the fuck? And then you realize that Matt Riddle is also 6'1", I think. So you would think that, oh my god, he looks quote unquote small. But then you realize that, oh, this motherfucker is actually 6'1", so he's taller than I am. So yeah, going back to the question asked by user CU underscore, what's something people don't realize the actual size of until they stand next to it? And I would say WWE wrestlers. Like the terminology land of the giants is certainly still a thing with people small wrestlers in WWE being about 6 foot, maybe 6'1", and most wrestlers being over that, which is absolutely outrageous to think about. So yeah, WWE wrestlers would be the answer to your question. See you underscore. Thank you for your question. Moving on to the third question of today, asked by user Puzzle-Headed Cup 1971. Are you going to continue wearing your mask when your place of living lifts mask mandates? If so, for how long? I am one of those people that wears his mask constantly, and I know that some people might think it's annoying, and it is sometimes because I have a very thick mask, so it basically muffles my whole voice. So I really need to project my voice to basically come through the mask and talk to people. But I am a bit of a weirdo. I like listening to podcasts. I like listening to music while I do grocery shopping, so whatever the fuck. So I like to keep my mask on so I can just react to the things I'm hearing with podcast and you name it. So that's one of the reasons why I would like to keep the mask on for a little bit. But it's also the fact that I visit my grandparents on both sides of my family quite often, and especially when I'm in the middle of Amsterdam. And if you have been to Amsterdam or have seen pictures of Amsterdam, you know that it's just people. Like the streets are filled with people, like 5 rows thick, and then just 4 fucking miles, right? Especially in the middle of the city. So at places like that, I'm just a bit overwhelmed as it is, because I'm very much an introvert. So when I have to go to these places, it's going to be a bit annoying for me anyways. And then you have the thing that, yeah, COVID is going on. So for me, it's just like, well, at places like that, I rather wear my mask for a little longer and see, what the situation is going to be doing. I am vaccinated. I am boosted. I got all that shit. But I am still wildly afraid of COVID, because it did wreak havoc in my family, and it sucks. And people that gotten COVID in my family still have issues with breathing and doing exercise and being out of breath and stuff like that. So it's really much a thing that I would like to stay far away from. And for me as well, like I have many hospital appointments in the coming weeks. So for me, it would be disastrous to have to miss out on any of those because of COVID. So because of things like that, I am very much hesitant to get rid of my mask right now. So I'm very much in a place where, hey, I'm just going to wear my mask if I can, going to stores, going to the supermarket, going to a convenience store, you name it. I will keep my mask on for now. And then with some smaller venue things. So again, like I'm saying, like the event that I'm having for work and just going to the office as a whole, I probably will not wear my mask there. Here in the Netherlands, we do still have some form of a mask mandate in public transit. So until that, basically, that's probably what I'm going to do then, I guess, maybe. So basically wait till the full mandate lifts and then might reconsider going maskless from that point on. But honestly, I don't mind it that much. Yesterday, I had a bit of I was a bit out of breath because I was walking quite a lot and then with a mask on and a lot of people. So it was a bit claustrophobic for me at that point. But overall, I think masks are pretty fine. And I always try to match my mask to my outfit. So, everything looks fine. It looks cool. So going back to your question, Puzzle-Headed Cup 1971. Are you going to continue wearing your mask when your place of living lifts mask mandates? If so, for how long? And for me, I will be wearing my mask for a little longer. Because again, like I'm saying, we don't really have mask mandates anymore. But right now, it's still a bit iffy for me because, again, doctor's appointments, visiting my grandparents, and COVID just beating everybody's ass right now. So until the mask mandate lives in public transit, I will probably keep wearing it in stores and stuff like that as well. Thank you for your question. Moving on to the fourth question of today, coming from user Phalux the One, and they ask, "What's a food you're not allergic to but find disgusting?" Simple answer for me, it's fish. I despise fish. Like, it's absolutely disgusting to me. It smells nasty, it looks nasty, the texture is nasty, and yes, I have eaten fish in the past, and I just don't like any of it. Everything that has to do with fish, I don't eat. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't eat raw meat as well. I also think that that is disgusting. I have eaten, is it carpaccio, right? That is the thinly sliced meat, and I thought it was absolutely disgusting. I don't eat raw meat on bread. I don't eat cold cuts and stuff like that. I just absolutely think that all of it is disgusting. I rather not do that stuff. Yeah, like I don't know. There, I am a very picky eater to begin with. So for me, there are a whole bunch of things that are very much disgusting. So it's really hard for me to say like, oh, there's specific things. But yeah, if I need to say a food that I would not eat, even though I am not allergic to it, it would be fish. Something about fish just, I don't know. It sends a fucking chills down my spine. I don't know what it is. It's absolutely disgusting. So yeah, going back to your question, Phalux the One, what's a food you're not allergic to but find disgusting? And it is fish. Like anything that fish, no. I don't want anything. I don't want sushi. I don't want fish and chips, you name it, fuck off. I don't want any of it. Please send it far away. It smells. I don't like the texture. It's absolutely disgusting. Please send it. I don't need that shit. Thank you for your question, Phalux. And now, the final question of the Ask Reddit subreddit for today. And this one coming from user abet underscore call underscore gaywayam. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. What video game to movie adaptation could break box office records with the right director, actor, writers, and a blank check budget? Ooh, that is a mouthful, that question. We can think of some games, because the thing is, when I look at this question, I want to say that there is a movie or like a game franchise that we can turn into a movie and that would break box office records. And honestly, I don't think there is. Right now, especially, video game adaptations are just so tainted that there is no freaking way anything is gonna come out anywhere near records right now. The Uncharted movie is doing very well, and again, if you would have asked me this before last year, I probably would have said Uncharted would be the one to do so. Like maybe like the only other thing that I could see break box office records would be a Call of Duty movie. And I honestly don't really know how you want to do this, but I feel like Call of Duty is of course very synonymous with gaming, and Call of Duty is the best selling game every fucking year it comes out. So with that, that means that a whole bunch of people play these games, which hopefully translates in a whole bunch of people watching the movie. But what makes Call of Duty interesting as well is that it's just a war story, right? And we have had many war stories like Brothers in Arms and Saving Private Ryan and you name it. There are many different war stories already brought to the silver screen, and they all did very well. So I feel like Call of Duty is one of the games that could do very well in the box office, especially if you put a big actor in one of the parts. And of course, Call of Duty has done this themselves in the game form, where they had Kevin Spacey, they have Kit Harington, they had Conor McGregor, and a whole bunch of other people be part of the games in one way, shape, or another. So I think that Call of Duty is probably the easiest one. Maybe in the same light, Gears of War would be okay. But again, I think that Call of Duty is way more known as it is. Yeah. I'm thinking very hard right now. Like I would have said Fortnite, but I also think that Fortnite right now has basically hit its peak and is now past its prime, but still maintaining the defense that they have right now and maintaining pretty good numbers. And therefore, it could be Fortnite. But yeah, like I don't really think anything else than Call of Duty could break box office records. So going back to your question, asked by user abet underscore cal underscore gawayam, and they ask what video game to movie adaptation could break box office records with the right director, actor, writers, and a blank check budget. I would say Call of Duty. I think the name Call of Duty would do a whole bunch because of its popularity. And I think the subject matter, just a simple, quote unquote, simple war story, I think would do very well at the box office because, again, it's a war story and those do very well. Probably not right now because there is an actual war on Western soil, but I still think that Call of Duty would probably be the one for me. Thank you for your question. And now, moving on to the final question of today. This one coming from the Am I the Asshole subreddit, asked by user Vitexa9485, and they ask, Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop describing things to her blind boyfriend during a family movie night? Oh god, this sounds like a joke, so let's jump right into the question. My little sister, 20 female, has been dating this guy, 22 male, for a little over a year now. He became completely blind at the age of 16 after a car accident. He's pretty well adjusted to his new way of living by now. Yesterday night, we had a family get-together at our parents' house. Had dinner, played some board games, chatted, things like that. Watching a movie was also on the checklist. We played a movie, and immediately after it started, my sister started describing things to her boyfriend, how the people and the environment looked, etc. It annoyed me, 26 female, because even though they were whispering, I could still hear them, and it disturbed my immersion. I kept quiet for a while, but I ended up telling them to please be quiet because other people like quietness during a movie. They shut up, but after the movie ended, my sister pulled me aside and started calling me names, telling me how that was super rude and ableist, and that she never thought I'd act like this, etc. I told her that I am in no way ableist, but it's annoying to hear constant noise during a movie, and this would apply to everyone. She said that she won't talk to me anymore, and so I apologized to her and her boyfriend. I would, but I don't understand what I did wrong. I believe that when you're hanging out with others, you should be courteous and fit in with the people there. That final sentence is actually kind of hilarious because it's always the interesting thing where people say that you need to be kind and then do the complete opposite because you're saying that when you're hanging out with others, you should be courteous. And you were the opposite of that because your sister is being kind to her boyfriend who cannot see the movie and just to say like, hey, this is going on. These are the people, that's what they look like. Not that it matters per se, but the guy is blind. He cannot fucking see for himself. So let her describe the fucking movie, bro. Like, you sound like an absolute bitch by just saying like, hey, you should stop making noises. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on. And I can understand that, hey, it's a bit annoying when you can hear people talking in the back. But this isn't a movie theater. You don't necessarily have to be here. And I understand if you want to watch the movie, but like, come on. It's not that she's talking about what she's eating for dinner after the movie. She's explaining the movie to her blind boyfriend. I feel like you could be a little bit more kind here and just endure this for a couple of hours every fucking family get together because you're not having a family get together every night. Like, I could understand that you're watching your favorite TV show every day and your sister just keeps on talking throughout the fucking thing, and she's not even whispering, she's just talking and explaining things. At that point I can say like, okay, I can understand why that would be annoying if you have to deal with that shit every day of the week. But this happened once, and maybe, it happens again during the next family get together. But like, how many get togethers do you have for your family? I don't fucking believe that it's more than once a week. So if this is the thing that you have to endure for 2 hours every week, I feel like you're still having a good time overall. Especially because you had dinner, you played board game, you chatted and stuff like that. Like, this is not the end all be all of the family night. So please pipe down. So going back to your question, Fedixa9485, am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop describing things to her blind boyfriend during a family movie night? Yeah, you are the asshole. Again, I can understand in a way that it could be annoying, but overall, I feel like you should have just shut the fuck up for 2 hours and then just enjoyed your life and the rest of the night with your family. Don't be such a bitch about this. And that was it for the Didn't Ask podcast for this week. I hope you had a good time listening to this podcast. Episode 53. Man, we are doing this for longer than a year now, and I didn't expect that when I started this podcast. So, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a rating on Apple Podcast and Spotify, because both platforms let you do that. And if you do, I might read your comment at the next time I see it. You can find this podcast at anchor.fm/didn't-ask-pod. Over here, you can find all the hyperlinks to your favorite podcast platforms like Podcast Addict or Pocket Casts and other things you want, you name it, it's probably there. Over here on this website, you could also find a box that says message. And if you press that, you get the ability to record a voice message for me so I can play your voice message on this right here podcast so I can answer your question. If you don't want your voice to be heard on this podcast, I can totally understand that. Just say it upfront in your message. I will then read your question out myself so I can still give you the answer you are looking for. I will be back next week, and in the meantime, you can catch what I'm watching thanks to Track.tv. That link will be in the show description as well. Over here, you can get a live playback of what I'm watching, from TV shows to movies, you name it, it's there. It's really fun. Maybe ask a question about that when you write in a question. Well, that's gonna be it for me for this week. I hope to see you back next week. Have a good week, and I'll see you back next time. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.